movies. We watch movies. You listen to us talk about movies that we watched without you.
It's beautiful.
Thanks. Now this is podcasting.
Man, so many movies to talk about.
There are. I saw like 6.
Yeah, I watched 6 over the past 2 weeks. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're all kind of on a good trajectory, I think.
I mean, we're all going to reach that
Yeah.
predetermined, like 100, whatever we decided.
Yeah. I'm about to...
Let's do it 200. Let's make 200
No,
the goal.
I also feel...
Dude, I think Spencer could do it at his pace.
No, I do. I feel like in our race to 100, it's like there's a bunch of movies that you want to see, and then I feel like I'm kind of getting to the end of that list, and then there's the movies that you want to see, but there are reasons that you haven't seen those movies. Like there's where it's just like, man, do I really want to watch it? And then like you'll watch it and you'll enjoy it, but there's just something.
That's the point I'm at right now.
That's how I feel too.
I feel like there's other things I should do rather than watch that movie. Like I feel like, Silence, right? Is that Silence, the Martin Scorsese one?
Yeah.
I feel like that's just going to be really long.
Well, it's Scorsese, so it's going to be at least 3 hours long.
And it's like, do I want to spend 3 hours watching that right now where I could be doing something else?
Right. Like I saw, Casino is on Netflix. Start Casino at, I don't know, it was like 9 o'clock or something. I put it on, and I immediately paused it to see how long it is, and I immediately backed out because I don't have 3 hours.
Yeah. I mean, Martin Scorsese is my favorite director, but there's only so much. Hugo is another one. Even more Hugo, where I'm like, if this wasn't Scorsese, I don't know if I would watch this.
Right.
But I probably should. I just don't feel like it.
So what I've started doing now is I've started looking for places that talk about movies that I don't know about yet. Because then that way I can kind of get excited about
like a review
things again. Yeah.
Okay.
There's Red Letter Media is kind of what I've been listening to. At the end of every year, they have their wrap-up shows where they go and they kind of talk about all the movies that they watched throughout the year that they don't spend a whole episode on,
right?
Because they do all blockbusters essentially,
all the Marvel stuff,
right? And so they'll be like, oh, this is like a fun little horror movie, or like this was kind of quirky and weird, and I'll be like, oh, see, now that sounds cool, I'll go check that out.
I'm into that stuff. That's what Chris Stuckman will do. That's my main guy I go to, reviewer. I need to watch more Red Letter Media stuff. I have them. I'm subscribed to them on YouTube. And so I'll make it a point because it's weird. With certain podcasts, I feel like, in certain like YouTube shows, I feel like I kind of get stuck on one and then I don't want to listen to anything else. Like right now, like I will kind of exclusively listen to the Giant Bomb stuff when it comes to video games. And everything else is kind of, it's either too cynical or it's too positive or it's too fluffy, or you feel like, I know it with like IGN stuff, you feel like they're a little too positive about things. And I'm not saying they're being bought, but
they're being bought.
Maybe.
Whoa.
I don't know. No, I'm not saying that, but they're definitely
That's what you just said.
Have friends. Yeah. You know what? I think it is they have friends in the industry they don't want to upset.
In case you're listening,
they're gonna be very positive.
In case you're listening, IGN, he's not saying that you're being bought. So.
No.
But
so if you want to give me a job, I'm not saying that.
He's very much implying it.
No, I don't think they're being bought. It's just, and I think it's just people maybe
are giving them money.
No, I don't think
or
it's that.
Access or favor.
I don't think it's that. I don't know what it is, but I think Giant Bomb is very down the middle. Because like there's other things that are like way too, I hate everything, and I'm going to tell you why everything sucks. And that's not fun at all. Like there's this 0 punctuation and they're it's funny, but good God, he hates everything. Like you.
Yeah, it's funny for a couple of things when like someone is like super critical.
Yeah.
But yeah, that gets really tiresome just to hear critique.
Yes, and and it's even stuff he likes. He's extremely critical on.
That's why I like us, you guys.
I mean, I like being critical. I think you should be critical, but
I think we're pretty good.
Yeah, I think we're all right.
We'll call you out on your junk.
Yeah.
But we'll give you praise where it's deserved. I think we're probably some of the most fair reviewers out there.
Yes, please write that in your review of us. Super FilmsCast 64.
Yeah. Super FilmsCast cannot be bought, but we would like
to be bought.
We would like for you guys to try.
If you try.
If you have a sponsorship.
If you come at us with money, we'd like to see you try to buy us.
Yeah, I really want to see that.
I freaking dare you guys to try to influence us. Disney,
SeatGeek, you want to come at us?
Oh, see, I'm
you're
shooting
thinking
for the
you're
stars.
shooting for the stars.
Oh yeah,
I'm shooting for the
realistic
Loot Crate and Blue Apron.
Give me some mattresses that come in boxes.
Give me that. Give me the they'll pick your clothes out for you. I don't know what they're called, but they do your
bonobos?
Shopping, bonobos or something.
Yeah, I'd like to take a step back to something Adam said earlier about he's running out of movies that he's really excited to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked over at Adam's computer screen and remembered that Adam watched The Love Guru this year.
Yeah.
So that was on the list of movies.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to talk about this with Hurricane Heist, but there's just a certain point where I would rather watch a terrible, terrible movie than I would watch a movie that's like, yeah, that was fine.
Yeah. So let's what's the show flow for today, Adam? What are we doing?
So we're going to talk a little bit about our March Madness bracket. We'll talk about the movie Hurricane Heist, the best worst movie of 2018
yeah, so
far. And then we'll get into what we've been watching and give you guys a few recommendations of movies that you guys should be watching. Oh, we also have news in there at some point, including the fight between Netflix and
Steven
Spielberg and
Wow.
also the Cannes Film Festival.
Cat fight.
There's a fight going on. So, should we start with our bracket?
How's your bracket doing?
How's our bracket doing? Our bracket is going great.
Yeah.
Everyone's a winner in the FilmsCast bracket.
Yeah. Everybody is really happy how this is going.
Except for Pee-wee. Sad story, but
he
to
is
be
coming
expected.
to Comic-Con. He is coming to Dallas Comic-Con, Spencer.
Yeah, I need to actually look into that. Oh, it's at Comic-Con? So I'd have to have Comic-Con tickets?
Dallas Fan Expo.
Okay, but yeah, I'll look into that and see if I would go just to if it's a Q&A with Mr. Rubens, I'd go for that. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So we're in round 3 of the brackets, correct?
Yeah, so we finished it. I'm trying to find round 2. Twitter moments, you guys.
Yeah, they kind of effed up.
They work well for a little bit, but boy, they're a real disaster once you get 60 tweets in. They're real hard to work with.
This is a very happening moment.
Yes.
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm not going to get into percentages for our Sweet 16 round. But let's see.
Do we have a Loyola Chicago?
It's weird with the rankings just because we're not really ranking by quality, we're ranking by favorite.
Yes.
So it's just, and especially with the internet pals one, it's a little difficult.
And I think I'd like to set the record straight, just so. And I don't think anyone's judging me here when I say Pee-wee's Big Adventure is my 1 seed. That is my favorite movie. It is not nearly the best movie. I just love that movie.
Yeah, we know.
So this is actually not the Sweet 16 games yet. These are the round of 32 matchups. We did 2 this week. What we did is we all ranked our top 16 movies, and then we got 16 movies from our online friends on Facebook and Twitter, and we put them all in a March Madness style bracket. So in the Adam region, Inglourious Bastards beats Mad Max. Shaun of the Dead beats The Graduate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's We got some idiots. I'm not idiots. I'm joking.
It's a recency thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I saw both of them around the same time for the first time, and I think The Graduate is fantastic. I really like Shaun of the Dead. I'm pretty sure I voted for Shaun of the Dead there.
Sure.
And again, The Graduate is a much better movie, but I would rather watch Shaun of the Dead.
And we kind of talked about that last week, where it's sort of like what you actually just said. It's a lot of it is, what would you rather sit down and watch?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Shaun of the Dead's probably more enjoyable,
I disagree.
I think
Shaun of the Dead is
laughing enjoyable. Like you can sit and
I wouldn't even say that.
Really?
I think The Graduate is as funny as any other movie. I think Shaun of the Dead is just more of the time right now.
Sure.
It's a lot faster and visually.
I'm not saying at all that it's a better movie than The Graduate, but
I'm just saying that if you say it's funnier, I disagree.
Okay.
Because I think The Graduate is
different kind of funny.
very funny throughout.
Okay.
Empire Strikes Back beat Office Space.
I think that's going to be in the finals.
Yeah,
Empire.
our finals may end up looking like some real basic white boys, some serious white boy.
And let me
privilege.
Can I sidetrack on that? You guys need to be looking at the lists on Letterboxd because they're really funny. Like there's some good. Like you can go and look at like just popular lists, and they're just really funny. And I looked at some of them, like basic straight white boy trash, and a lot of them are. One was like, bro, is this movie gay? And it's like all the Fast and the Furiouses, and it's some really funny stuff on there. I'm sorry, keep going.
And yes, those movies are all gay.
Oh, very gay.
There's an American Dad episode where they find, I think it's at that time, it's the Fast and Furious 6 script, and they find out that it's written as a gay porn, and they shoot it as a gay porn. Because that's the only way the writer would allow it to go, and then they just cut out all the gay scenes to make the actual movies.
Makes sense.
It's one of my favorite American Dad episodes. Speaking of, Fast and Furious loses to Airplane.
Tragic.
So that's all for my region in the round of 32. In the Spencer region, Pulp Fiction beats Arrival. Arrival, the 16 seed.
Yeah.
Which upset Pee-wee.
The UMBC.
Yes. Fargo beats Back to the Future. The Shawshank Redemption beats Monty Python and the Holy Grail. The Dark Knight beats The Goonies.
Yeah. I'm not I think that's pretty much going, with the exception of Fargo over Back to the Future, I guess, maybe going as they're seated.
I think that's another one where it's
Fargo is ahead of Back to the Future in your seeding.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
So Shawshank was an 11 seed that made it through, but it squared off against Monty Python, which was a 14 seed.
Yeah.
So they were both underdogs, I suppose, but also Shawshank has like some of the most recognition among people, and
I think it's a great movie, but I think people maybe like it is up there as one of the really great movies, but I think people maybe overrate it. That sounds bad. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is something that people say, oh, if it's on, like I'll just watch it. It's like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
It's really, really great. I would consider it one of my favorite movies of all time, like top 50.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't say it's the best movie I've ever seen. I think it's like people used to be like, oh yeah, Citizen Kane, best movie ever. It's like, well, you're just saying that. Maybe a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, when you're ranking your 16 favorite movies, it's like there could be tons of change.
Yeah, there's always change.
I think it's a movie that I've thoroughly enjoyed watching.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people voting.
No, yeah, it's like the highest rated movie on IMDb, and it shouldn't be, but it's just one of those things where everyone's like, yeah, that's the best movie ever made.
Adam, you looked at me weird when I said Citizen Kane.
Well, because I don't think Citizen Kane was ever really like a general moviegoer's favorite movie.
But that's like people who want to act like they're big into film say that's their favorite movie, even though they don't really. I don't know.
Don't say you don't know. Stand behind your opinion, Trey.
I said people that like to pretend they're into film like to say Citizen Kane or The Godfather when they say what their favorite movie is.
Right, but those hold way more merit as like masterpieces than Shawshank Redemption does.
Right.
In the Trey region, Goodfellas beat Drive. Step Brothers beat 7.
What?
Step Brothers' amazing run continues,
It
beating
is-
A
it is
Clockwork
going.
Orange and 7.
Jeez.
In the showdown, There Will Be Blood against No Country for Old Men. No Country.
They
Wins.
killed him.
Victorious
I saw that too.
once again.
Yes. And Big Lebowski beats Superbad.
Mm-hmm.
In our online pals region, Anchorman beats Forrest Gump. So freaking best movie ever. Ouch.
Out of there.
Return of the King, after we pushed it through,
Yes, we
and
pushed
its
it.
tie with Ocean's 11, stomped Princess Bride.
Mm-hmm.
Major League moves on after beating Independence Day in the obvious worst matchup.
Yes.
What the hell?
That
Major League on par with No Country, Goodfellas, and Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, and then Godfather 2 beat Castaway. So that brought us to our Sweet 16, our 16 candles, I would say, to make it
I like it.
a film. In my region, Inglourious Bastards against Shaun of the Dead. Inglourious Bastards rolled in this one.
Mhm.
I was kind of surprised about that because Shaun of the Dead had such strong support early on. 72-28, Inglourious Bastards moves on. And then Empire Strikes Back against Airplane. Empire Strikes Back continues its run against comedy and lesser-known movies.
Yeah.
It hasn't really, I don't know. It's to the point, early on, I think we saw some comedy upsets where comedies were ranked higher than like really good but not like super fantastic movies, and then it got into this region and people were finally like, no, all these comedies gotta go now.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably fair.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let the grown-ups play.
So in the Adam region, in the let's see, what, Elite 8, the Fate of the Furious.
Yeah.
What did I say something else? Did I write something on Twitter for that one? I don't remember. But anyway, Inglourious Bastards against Empire Strikes Back. Thoughts?
Inglourious Bastards versus Empire Strikes Back.
I like Inglourious Bastards better.
Yeah, that's a very
That's
tough one. You could get recency, but I mean, Inglourious Bastards is still like, even if it's recency bias, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't
Star
know.
Wars is Empire Strikes Back is so ingrained.
Right.
and-
It's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Now we talked about this when we went back through our Star Wars stuff about how, if we ever knew that Darth Vader was Luke's father, like if we ever didn't know that going into the movies, because it was just such a huge part of pop culture and you kind of knew that before you really even watched the movies.
Yeah.
That kind of like surprise moment that I never had with Star Wars, I feel like I had when they start shooting Hitler in the face in Inglourious Bastards. It's like, oh my God, they're actually killing him. This is great. It like is super exciting. Like I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, oh man, how's this thing gonna go wrong? And then they don't.
Yeah.
It's just like, nope, this is a fake history.
They just burn everyone.
They burn everyone and they shoot Hitler in the face
Yep.
a million times.
Yeah, they don't just kill Hitler; they mutilate him.
Right, which is so great. That is my Darth Vader.
That is your Darth Vader moment.
So who would you guys pick between Inglourious Bastards and Empire Strikes Back?
I think I would take Inglourious Bastards. I mean, I love Empire, but yeah, I think Inglourious Bastards just connects with me better. It's a little bit more raw and kind of is a little bit more brutal, which I definitely enjoy when it's done well. Yeah, I love that movie.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking about the fourth round right now or the
Right,
third?
we're just talking about it. It's not the official.
We're just talking
vote.
about it.
Okay.
It hasn't
okay.
been. This hasn't even gone
I'm
out
sorry.
for vote yet.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would say Inglourious Bastards over Empire, but I've never been the big Star Wars guy.
Yeah,
so I just it's
I'm the
I-
same as
thing.
you.
I had Inglourious Bastards number 1. I think
Mhm.
it's probably the most rewatchable.
Yeah.
But I like Empire Strikes Back a
Yeah,
whole lot.
no, it's definitely the
Obviously,
best Star Wars movie.
at this point, we're splitting hairs.
Yeah.
These are both.
It's
I would
all-
consider all of these are 5-star movies
Yeah.
for all of us
Yes.
at this point.
Mhm.
In the Spencer region, Pulp Fiction against Fargo. let's see. Pulp Fiction wins 80% to 20%. Pulp Fiction is kind of rolled through these as well. And then, let's see. And then The Dark Knight over Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
Dark Knight, 63%. Shawshank Redemption, 37%. Remember those percentages, guys. 63% to 37%.
Okay, I'll keep those top of mind. This is the second Tarantino film.
Oh, I know why.
And the 7 round plus 1, with the 7 as the V for some reason.
Right.
So Tarantino very well represented.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about this round. I have Dark Knight ahead of Pulp Fiction, and I think I would keep it that way. I love The Dark Knight. It's an amazing action movie. Dark Knight better progress. Don't let me down.
I think it will. Though I don't know.
This is probably
this is
the toughest call, I would say, out of the Elite 8.
Because they could go either way, and I could see it going either way.
Yeah. I think I would take The Dark Knight as well, just because doing a realistic dark superhero movie,
it's a little easier with Batman, but yeah,
it is easier with Batman because you can see what happened when they tried to do it with Superman.
Yes, and
then all the DC stuff after has kind of been influenced by that.
I'm not saying it's easy,
all the Marvel stuff I feel is very like Iron Man influenced. And you can see how kind of the Marvel franchise has flourished while DC has struggled. And I think that's because it's very hard to make a movie like The Dark Knight.
Yeah, when I say it's easy with Batman, I think it's easier because you're not dealing with supernatural stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. I think also for me, a big reason why I would take Dark Knight, just me personally, why I take Dark Knight over Pulp Fiction is the first time I watched Pulp Fiction is on DVD at home, whereas Dark Knight is like, like we're high school kids. Where you're in the theater and it's packed, and
that was like
that's just those like it's those moments are like if you're a big time moviegoer, those like monumental movie going events are super important to me. So
I'm with you there. I'd go Dark Knight just because like I really like Pulp Fiction, but I think Dark Knight just as far as a little bit more, I don't know. I don't want to say memorable, but I think there's like the Heath Ledger's Joker is just so iconic to me. Like I love that character. I like to, pretend I like to do the voice of that character a lot. Not here.
Well,
my voice is bad.
That's the thing. I think if you're just comparing characters, I mean, both movies have
great
some of the most
characters,
memorable characters.
They do.
In all of movies.
Yeah.
Like
Jules Winfield is so fun.
Yeah. And then it's Vincent Vega is like that duo. I mean, there are so many freaking T-shirts.
Very iconic.
And
and even Bruce Willis's character was really good. I thought,
And I can't remember his wife's name in the movie, but some blueberry pancakes.
Oh,
it's so freaking good. Yeah.
Don't be a square, man. She draws it out.
She doesn't even say it. She just draws it.
Yeah.
Wow. How cool is that?
She's pretty cool.
Nice,
Neil
Quentin.
Wallace. In the Trey region, Goodfellas ends the reign of the Step Brothers.
I feel so embarrassed.
With a 63 to 37 win. Wow. Our second straight 63 to 37 win. And then in the other matchup in the Trey region,
the Coen Brothers matchup.
The Coen Brothers matchup, No Country for Old Men beats The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
64 to 36. Almost exactly the same.
What a crazy coincidence.
Almost a 2-1 split. So Goodfellas against No Country for Old Men.
That's going to be interesting too. I think Goodfellas will win out, but people love No Country.
I don't know. I would take No Country.
Yeah.
Personally. Again, I saw No Country in theaters.
Yeah, me too.
So I think I'm biased.
I saw it with my dad, and he walked out within 10 minutes.
What?
Really?
He hates violence in movies and stuff. Yeah.
What? Wow.
Yeah,
he really hates violence. And he's like, No Country for Old Men.
What?
So what
movies does he like?
I like comedies. Like he likes Caddyshack.
He's probably pissed off about Step Brothers.
He likes. I don't think he's seen Step Brothers. He's not a big movie guy.
Freaking Goodfellas sucks. Too many people
He liked
die in that
Goodfellas.
movie.
He did like Goodfellas. I showed him that. I don't know. It's
like
weird.
so violent.
It's weird. He's a weird guy.
Favorite movies?
I think also it's because he
So
travels a lot
Italian.
too. Yeah, he's very Italian. He travels a lot, and he's very sensitive. And when he pulls over the guy in the middle of the road, I think it kind of touched too much because my dad's always on those kind of roads. So it was sort of touched a chord for him. Didn't like that.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
How does he feel about like The Hitcher or anything?
I don't
like
think
that?
he's seen, like, again, he's not into movies. He doesn't go and watch movies really.
I think I would take Goodfellas, but I don't feel great about it.
I don't think it's going to win. I'm happy with both winning.
Yeah.
But, those are two of my favorite movies of all time, so I'm a little biased.
In our online pals region, Anchorman beats Return of the King 63-37.
That's ridiculous.
See, I'm fine. I voted against all of the Lord of the Rings movies throughout this. Not because I dislike them, but it's just I think I missed the boat on them as they were coming out. So I didn't have. I think when. I don't know. I'm sure it is something I could get into later, but those like being so interested in those movies is part of like you were swept up in them as they were being released.
Definitely,
and I missed that.
I could see that totally because I definitely was.
Yeah, I saw Two Towers was the second one, correct?
Yes.
I saw that one in theaters. That's the first one I saw, and then I saw one like sophomore year of college, and then I saw 3.
Yeah.
Like pretty much that same year.
Okay.
So I think I've only seen them each once. So it's one of those things I need to revisit, but not this year because we can only watch new movies this year. Anyways.
I would have picked Return of the King.
I also would have picked Return of the King. Anchorman, though, representing for the comedies.
Is that the lone comedy to make it through? Pulp Fiction is funny.
It's not a comedy.
I wouldn't consider it a comedy.
You could put No Country for Old Men as a comedy. They like to. There's interviews with Tommy Lee Jones saying it's a comedy.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones has no idea what he's doing at any moment anymore.
No.
And then our final matchup, Godfather 2 beats Major League.
Oh, no
Please
way.
tell me this one is 63-37.
It is 63-37.
Yep.
Who
So
picked?
of our 8 matchups, 5 of them were either 63-37 or 62-38.
So, the people who picked Major League over Godfather 2 were joking, right? Like, that's a joke. Major League is great. It's like one of the best sports movies.
Very fun.
Very fun movie. I don't know. I guess if you are going on the which one would you rather watch. But at a certain point, it's like you can't do that to certain movies.
Right.
I don't know.
I kind of prefer the first Godfather over 2.
I've never seen 2, actually.
It's really
but
good.
It's like I know Major League is not better.
Yeah, it's really good. I think I kind of like the beats of 1 a little more, I think.
Yeah.
It's whatever. It's good though.
Maybe I'll watch Godfather 2
You
this
should.
year.
You should see it.
It's on Netflix if you have a day to spare.
Yeah.
Anchorman, Godfather 2, who you got?
Godfather.
Well, I've not seen Godfather 2, so I'll take Godfather 2, although I really do love Anchorman.
Anchorman's really good.
Anchorman is so good.
Anchorman's really good.
It's definitely Will Ferrell's best and one of the best comedies of the millennium.
Mm-hmm.
If it's which I would rather put on and watch. Which this is whatever you want it to be.
No, it is. I've said that before. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about at this point. Maybe I've worn out Anchorman enough to where it like watching it would only make me sadder.
Sure. I'm always super Step Brothers over Anchorman and super bad over Pineapple Express guy. That's kind of where I fall.
Well, I'm the exact opposite of you.
Well, then we're enemies, sworn enemies.
The old yin and yang.
Yeah.
That's why we have such a good podcast.
Yeah. We finish each other's
sandwiches.
Exactly.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the bracket. Go ahead and vote. I'll have these up by the time you're listening. It'll be on my Twitter feed at the Fullertron. I think we'll probably do
Two
this
rounds.
week. And so we'll have our finals next week on the show.
Yeah. What are your predictions for the finals?
The finals?
Yes.
Final two?
The final two.
Oh. Let's not influence our vote.
Okay,
Yes.
let's not do that.
I don't want to throw it in there.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about a movie that we all watched together. We
And
talked about
loved.
our super film, the ones that we think are fantastic, that are great. Now we'll talk about a movie that is not so great, but also just so much freaking fun.
It's amazing.
It's called Hurricane Heist, and it's the latest movie from the director
From the Russian bots who hacked the election. Hurricane
from
Heist.
Rob Cohen, who directed the original Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah.
And Triple X.
Yeah.
So he has skins on the wall when it comes to wildness.
Yeah.
Just wild, crazy, fun movies.
Mhm.
And this is about the synopsis. Thieves attempt a massive heist against the U.S. Treasury as a Category 5 hurricane approaches one of its mint facilities.
It's an amazing concept, but I do have to say, going into this movie, I had seen the trailer once. I was amped enough off of the one trailer that I'm saying, oh yeah, I got to see this movie. I was very much confused based on the history of loving these Fast and Furious movies. I thought I was going to be rooting for the people committing the crime.
I thought it was going to be an Ocean's 11 thing.
I thought I was like, oh yeah, I'm rooting for these cons.
It's more fun to do that,
but
right?
no, in this movie we are rooting for two brothers from Gulfport, Alabama.
Which Rutledge brother are you? Are you more of a Breeze or a Will?
Oh, I'm a breezy. I'm
No.
a breezy guy.
Breeze is the bad boy.
I'm a breeze guy on the weekends, but during the weeks, I'm a Will.
Give
for
me a
sure.
Will in the streets and a Breeze in the sheets.
That's what I'm talking about.
So this movie opens up. Breeze and Will are children driving away from a hurricane
It's
with
one
their
of
father.
The best openings in modern cinema.
They're driving away and they're kind of annoying their dad, so he tells them to study their football plays. They're all doing like the heaviest Southern accents possible.
Hi, Paul.
Spider 2-eye banana, Dad.
And then the truck crashes into some sort of field. The kids run into a house. The hurricane knocks over a water tower, and the top of the water tower rolls over their dad, and
Yep.
he is dead.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, before we get too far into this, watch this movie, because there are going to be so many times when I'm biting my tongue, sparing you details, because this movie is all about the details.
Oh yeah.
Like the reason why the dad is not in the house with the boys during the hurricane is because for some reason he has to move his car from the field to the road during the hurricane. So
He needs to.
yeah,
No time to waste.
And then once the dad dies, the house gets tipped over and the boys see a skull form from the clouds.
Yes, very ominous skull. And the house falls on the boys, but they survive. They survive this.
They
Yeah.
do. And then flash forward to today.
Yeah.
Will is a meteorologist who's driving around in the Dominator.
Yes.
Which is
The
a
Batmobile. Like
right.
the
It looks
tumbler,
like
yeah.
it looks like the Batmobile from Dark Knight Rises. And
He's got his little iPad.
all the goddamn government fat cats
Man.
back in Washington say it'll be this tropical storm. We'll
got-
bump it up to a Category 1 hurricane.
We got all our technology here, but I just have my senses. I know when the hurricane's coming.
And Will is played by a guy who you may know from the episode of Black Mirror where he has his little eye implant and can rewind and rewatch all the stuff with his girlfriend. So this is an English actor, and he's going all in with this Alabama accent.
Yes. It really makes you wonder how many people auditioned for this role where they couldn't find someone with a slightly more believable just Alabama accent.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I think they made the right choice with this guy.
They did, yeah.
He was so good, and just you believed this is a really sentimental character, and you believe that throughout the entire movie he cares about his country and his brother and the girl
and football
and the football,
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah,
and money that is about to be was going to be destroyed anyway.
That is such the weirdest point of this movie is that
yes.
It's like, why are we saving this money? It's going to be destroyed.
You have to retire money, otherwise you have inflation.
Oh,
if you have too much money circulating, you get inflation. He's saving really all of us. He's saving the common man's buying power in America.
He's a modern day hero.
Will is a hero, and so is, I can't remember the lady's
Shannon from Lost is in it.
Shannon from Lost. She was also a fantastic hero.
She's great in certain roles, and this isn't one of them.
Well, you see, we're gonna fight about this because, man, was she badass.
She's badass.
We're introduced to her when there's all these people from Alabama trying to exit Gulfport. They're being ordered out, but they're trying to go one way. There was a wreck coming the other way on this 2-lane road. A bunch of trucks carrying to-be retired money.
Yes.
What does she do? Runs into the front of one car, pushes it back 10 feet, and then drives through the crops.
It's tobacco crops,
so it's okay.
though.
It's
so
okay,
she's preventing people from smoking.
Yeah,
she's a hero.
Curing cancer.
She's a hero.
This movie's full of heroes.
Right.
You know?
That's
little heroes.
It's just a classic hero's journey.
Yeah.
And super villains.
Yeah.
And the guy who's like the bad Russian guy in every other B movie is the main villain. Like,
I know he's some sort of like Scottish man in this movie.
Yeah.
So we've kind of touched on it, but the basic conceit is that they bring back a whole bunch of old bills that are set to be shredded and destroyed. But the local police force has evacuated everyone out of the town so that they're working with, spoiler for a little bit later, but so I think this movie needs spoilers, because without the spoilers, I'm not sure how to convince people to see this movie.
Right. I don't want to give away all of our favorite moments, because it's so much better. Everything from this movie is out of left field.
Yes,
like there is nothing happens the way you would think it would happen. It's really, you got to see it to believe it type of thing.
And so they're going to try to steal this money while everyone in the town is totally gone. And as one of the guys who planned it said later, all we needed was a little hurricane.
And also the fact that he's like, we're not going to use guns, no casualties. And there's just a whole scene of them darting all these federal agents, just with freaking dart guns, and they're all falling down, and one guy has like a dart in his hand.
Instant action. Tranquilization.
And then he's like, no casualties, but then they just go torturing people pretty much the rest of the movie, almost killing them.
Yes.
See, now you're getting bogged down in the details. You can't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Now, question, does this movie feature anyone getting killed to death by a deadly hubcap frisbee? Yes.
It does.
It most certainly does. Does this movie, let's see, include people flying around like human kites? Yes, it does.
You better believe it.
Does it involve the eye of the storm, just a firm line of clouds and utter destruction chasing down our heroes as they try to stop these people from getting away? Yes, of course.
Adam, are you suggesting that a movie from the creator of the Fast and Furious and XXX franchises basically has a very loose understanding of how tropical storms work?
I may be suggesting that.
Well, You are absolutely right, and it could not have been done. No one wants to, although despite the fact that they have very little understanding of how storms actually work, they're going to talk to you like they know all the correct lingo.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. And also the hacking, all the correct lingo.
And also, this movie...
There's hacking in this movie.
Oh, yeah. This movie felt like it was written by Russian bots, too. Like, it was very...
It was made by a ton of Russian people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This movie was set to undermine the election, and they realized this is so bad. Let's just save it for a year.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see. What else is there to talk about?
Should we talk about
so
the
much
spoiler, non-spoiler? I think if we're just going to talk about the general plot, basically, there becomes a group of people. Will and Breeze have to stop these bad guys who have infiltrated
and Will's
the Mint
brother. No, wait a minute.
It's Breeze.
Breeze's brother.
Yeah, Breeze
is like but he's
a mechanic.
like a football star, ex-football. They're both like ex-football stars. But Bree is like a doctor though. Doctor, lawyer.
No, Will is
Fisher.
Breeze.
Will.
Yeah. Breeze is a former military man who
drinks a lot.
Who drinks a lot and
is very easily convinced to leave his house after he's very stubbornly not going to.
Has panties.
Yeah.
From someone named Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Yeah. Basically this movie is just a ton of fun. You get some really entertaining action sequences. Just people who are basically like, what kind of fun can we have with people fighting in a hurricane? You get a lot of fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
You get scenes that are pretty much ripped directly from the Fast and the Furious.
Oh, do you mean there are multiple scenes almost back to back where one of the Rutledge boys drifts, opens up a door, and yells at Shannon from Lost to get in?
Oh, you get multiple of those, Grace, and you get people jumping from car to 18-wheeler.
Oh yeah, the ending was very into Fast and Furious.
Yep.
Oh yes. It's a ton of fun. If you do like fun action movies, this is up there.
And the effects were fine. Like they were really good. It didn't look low budget.
No, it wasn't a cheap movie.
No.
Yeah, it cost $35 million. Domestically, so far, it has made $6 million.
Oh, no.
So this is a bomb. Let me check the foreign box office.
I really am blaming Black Panther. Any other time, this movie would have been a hit.
A hit.
You guys support your local insanity.
This might have been a hit 20 years ago, too.
I think this movie... we've talked a lot about like straight to Netflix movies, and not that I would want to see this any other way than in a theater ruining the night of two couples because we are hooting and hollering.
Like 6 of us clapping every 10 seconds.
Yeah. You get some global warming PSA in there,
just right in the middle. This was here all the time. There's just like so many like
it's so
little
quotable.
catchphrase. Yeah, there's a ton of.
Can we mention the peanut butter and jelly? Or should we say
say the peanut butter because that has nothing to do with the plot.
Right, but that I feel like we should save that for spoilers because like the fact that just happens is so good to me, not knowing what's coming with that.
Well, yes,
it was here the whole time, or it was here all the time,
not the whole time because that would make sense.
Yeah. It was here all the time.
I do think this is a type of movie where it's way better in a theater. I think it definitely has that midnight movie feel to it. And I hope it does gain some sort of kind of cult fame. Yeah. I don't think it will.
No.
There are too many like bad movies nowadays, at least. But God, I love this movie.
Yeah,
I want to own this movie
when it gets on Netflix because it's probably out of theaters wherever you are at this point. Unless you look for it, they'll have. I think this weekend there was like 1 or 2 showings. I think it's worth the time to go see it. But if not, wait for it to be on Netflix and invite some friends over and just have fun yelling at the screen because it's great for that.
Yes. So, do we want to get into kind of spoiler zone, talk about your favorite parts of the movie?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it.
So Trey, you were talking about the peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, so there's just a part of the action. This was after I think the tumbler or whatever got all beat up and destroyed, and he's just
The
kind
Dominator.
the Dominator. Or no, it had to be before because they're on it.
Yes.
And it was just sort of a downtime, and she's like, I'm really hungry. And he's like, you want some PB and J's? And he just pulls a drawer out from his car full of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with days of the week written on there. And I think he gives her like a Monday, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
She goes, I hate Mondays. Or some Garfield reference. And yeah.
She was like, I would have preferred a lasagna.
Yeah.
Don't you got a convection oven in there?
No, but
She
are,
says,
are you going to say the line?
She says, so is this Jif? And he goes, no, well, it's Skippy. He goes, I'm a Skippy guy, so I like Skippy. Because, what was that?
I'm a Skippy guy, so it's Skippy.
It's Skippy. But it
a
is,
Skippy guy.
what kind of jelly was it? Smucker's?
Oh, she said,
yeah.
Smucker strawberry, though.
Oh, yeah.
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 Yep,
Which
they
is-
agree.
It's such a confusing exchange because it is a very long exchange for no purpose.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be like them falling in love with each
Yeah.
other, but
But-
they're just like talking about ingredients in their peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah, it's like the type of scene that you include to add length to make it a cool 90 minutes. But this movie is like almost 2 hours long.
Yes.
Yeah.
They didn't need this. So yeah, like you said, Adam, I think it's to build that relationship, I guess.
Yeah.
And these are, I guess, Russian folks who think we bond over our peanut butter and jelly
Americans
ingredients.
love food.
They love brands.
They will eat the food.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Also, it's 3 different brands, so there's
Yeah.
no way it's like it's product
We're
placement.
totally dissing Jif, too. Like, we're kind of,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Making
they're like,
fun of
no,
them.
it's not Jif. I'm
Hell
a
no.
Skippy man.
I'm a Skippy boy. I
Which,
like
who
that
the hell is
Skippy.
a Skippy man? Skippy's
Some
the worst.
monsters. Unless Skippy sponsors this podcast.
They also build a relationship over a pissing scene.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Where
God,
they just pull over to piss and talk for like a minute and a half.
And they're like right outside a mall, too.
And she's just squatting, peeing on a pillar, and he's peeing on a different pillar, and they're just getting really sentimental. And it's one of those. This movie is so full of just. You cannot relax because you will get caught off guard with something ridiculous in this movie.
My favorite scene, which Trey, you went to the bathroom and missed.
Yes.
Uh,
well, I had to take a call as my dad calling me.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't know why you left, but
It's my father.
okay.
It was an emergency. Thank you.
What was wrong with your father?
Don't know.
He was making sure you weren't watching violent movies.
Yeah, it was. That violence, Trey. You know, my mom once asked me if I ever got messages from ISIS on my PlayStation. I'm like,
no.
yes, Mom. I'm always getting friends requests from ISIS to play Rocket League.
No, comrade. I mean, mom.
Anyway.
So there's a scene when they're in a mall where they're going to do a swap of Shannon from Lost for Breeze Rutledge.
There are hostages in this movie.
Yeah, and Will and Shannon from Lost have both tied some rope around their waist, and Will checks his Apple Watch and is checking the barometric pressure outside, and it's dropping, and he sees it gets to a point, and he shoots his gun through the glass ceiling of the mall, and it's like a black hole has opened up,
Yep.
and everybody just like gets sucked out.
It's like an airplane.
Yeah, it's like a scene from a movie where like someone opens the
Yeah.
door of the airplane and everyone gets sucked out.
Goldfinger gets sucked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Will and Shannon from Lost are tied down, so they just get like tossed around like rag dolls in the air, and I cannot do justice with words to how insane it looks.
It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen on screen.
Yeah.
It is 2 human balloons just getting thrown around in a hurricane, but being put down very gently afterwards.
They just kind of climb down. It's almost like gravity has just flipped temporarily. It's insanity.
It's
Sure, we'll
wonderful.
rewatch this.
it's
I'll watch
so
that
great.
again.
I plan on buying this because I am afraid it is something that'll just get forgotten.
Disappear.
It'll disappear. But like
Gotta show your kids.
I want to show this to people who have not seen it. It's amazing.
Audio commentary?
Ooh.
Yes.
That would be fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
Blu-ray. This will be I've never purchased a Blu-ray. This
Well, I
will
mean,
be
we
the
could
first.
do an audio commentary.
Oh yeah, we'll
Yeah.
do one for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm all about. That's a great idea. That'll be a Super FilmsCast special.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, you guys want to...
Can we
Do you
mention
have
the
anything to say?
one last the line where so the whole thing is that Shannon from Lost had some code to get into this bank vault,
Right.
and she had it on her iPad,
Yeah.
and they're trying to get to her, and they finally get her in the facility, and she finally bites and gets the iPad, and it's just in this like
It's in a bin of shredded
money. And she pulls it out, and her line was,
It was here all the time.
and it was just the what?
I think that is. We had a pretty good hunch that this movie was written by someone with a loose grasp on English,
Yeah.
as well as tropical storms. That was just like so clear that
Right.
this movie went through edit, and they're like, yeah, it was here all the time.
Like I could see her be like, "Hey, there's a problem with the script. I don't think the grammar's right here. No, you say a line.
It was
No,
here all the time.
I think no, it's wrong. No, you say a line. How would it? Okay, fine, I'll say it.
Yeah. So go watch this movie
Yes.
however you can.
Watch it.
I gave it... Now, our rankings for this movie were different, and I've kind of struggled with this.
It's difficult
in
to do.
ranking
Yeah.
bad movies if you're giving it 1 to 5 stars. I gave it 3 because it's not up there with The Room as
No.
like
A 5.
a so bad and so fun, but it is pretty fun.
It's very fun.
But just like that little step down from The Room level is kind of a big drop off, I would say. So I gave it a 3. So I would rather watch it than, let's see, what do I have as
I would
a
rather
2.5 star?
I would rather
movie?
watch it than Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah,
That's tough for me. I don't know. I feel I might rather watch Too Fast, Too Furious, but that might also only be because I've fallen so in love with the franchise
Sure.
as
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
you could say, matured.
Okay. No, honestly, if that's the lowest point,
It's
then-
tough. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough for me because I gave it a 4 because
Yeah.
I loved the hell out of this movie.
I gave
for
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, I think part of it. I'm not positive, but I saw it with a large group of friends,
Yeah.
which is how I saw Fast and Furious 6, which is why that is one of
Yeah.
my favorite movie going experiences ever. That just amplifies it for me, is when you're with a group of people who are all game with just enjoying this bad movie.
I thought
So-
that made it a lot better of an experience with staying with like you guys.
for sure.
That was
Yeah.
that was fun. I gave it a 2. Yeah, I'm with you. I could probably fluctuate on the ratings. I think I just kind of gave it a 2 for the quality of the movie itself.
No, and that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair thing to do.
Right.
Absolutely, because
Yeah.
you can your score can mean whatever you want it
Yeah,
to mean.
and I guess it's a little contradictory to my score for The Room, which is a 5.
Right.
Because I think that just sort of goes. It becomes Super Saiyan for a show I'm watching. Like that's it. It breaks the barrier. I think The Room does.
Yes.
Where it's not just a bad movie. It's like a masterpiece.
It's,
Right.
Yeah, it is truly a half star.
Yes.
But like that's even doing it justice, which makes it a 5-star movie.
Yes, exactly.
It's a bizarre phenomenon.
All right,
Phenomenal.
Hurricane Heist. Check it out.
Check it.
It may not be the last you hear about
Yeah.
it on this podcast.
I hope not.
News time.
News.
Let's talk a little news. Netflix originals have been banned from the Cannes Film Festival.
Oh no.
That's insane.
Now, the films can still play.
Yeah.
They just can't win awards.
That's so weird. What is the whole point of doing this? Is this just people upset that they're not going through the proper channels?
Yes.
Pretty much.
I think it's also people who are very much purists in terms of film as an art form.
Mhm.
You
And film is to be viewed in a movie
in
theater.
the cinema.
Yeah, and so they don't want their perception, like they want their perception of films to be the one true lasting
Mhm.
perception, I guess.
And it's also a really French thing because
Okay.
French movies, if once they're in theaters, they can't show up on Netflix for like 3 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's interesting.
Because they want that industry to do well. Cannes also banned red carpet selfies. Just to show you the kind of what's going on at Cannes.
Sure.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah,
They're a bunch
exactly.
of fun. They're tons of fun.
Where it's like, hey.
See, I think you can have both, because I don't agree with the people who are like, I don't like seeing movies at theaters at all. I think they should all come to Netflix automatically. It's like, no, there's some movies I definitely want to see in theaters.
Yeah.
But I could, but the other side, though, is like, why can't you have both? The best of both worlds.
I think the what's come up lately as an option is where you can pay like $20
I've heard that,
to watch the movie at home right away versus going to a theater, which I don't know if.
Hey, I got the movie pass. Get movie pass.
We'll talk about movie pass in a second. Steven Spielberg says that Netflix movies should be eligible for Emmys and not Oscars because they're made for TV, which I don't necessarily.
I guess if you want to be technical. I don't know, though.
I disagree, but I kind of get where he's coming from.
Right. I understand what he says. His rationale. I still disagree. I think I hope movie theaters stay around forever. I think they will, because there are still movies making $1 billion. They should at least stay around for a while. But I mean, like the medium is changing. Like the way people consume the media is changing. There's not really anything you can do about it. There are going to be good movies that come out on Netflix, and I think they should be eligible, because the process of making the movie is still exactly the same. I mean, obviously, like getting funding might be slightly different, but the creation of the movie and how it would be judged is the same.
Kind of makes me wish that Annihilation would have just been a Netflix. Even though I enjoy watching that on the big screen, I feel like that could have been a good kind of start point, or a good sort of marker of what a Netflix movie could be.
Yeah.
Like, I think that could have been like a good benchmark. Like, hey, look at this movie. It is a Netflix movie, and it is probably one of the best movies of this year.
I think that part of it is that Netflix has trouble. Like they have so much content.
Yes, and it's
which I think they probably need to start trimming that down. But all they're talking about is making it more and more.
Yeah.
And it's less and less. Like, you can barely find movies on there you want to watch. And it's you'll find, if you leaf through it, you'll find stuff you're interested in, especially TV and movies. But when it's like, okay, I want to watch this movie, you can rarely find it anywhere. You have to go to Amazon and rent it.
Yeah, I'm hoping The Irishman, which I'm not sure if you have any of the news. Do you have any of the news on The Irishman?
We talked about it last week.
That's
a little
right.
bit.
Yeah, it's over budget, and it's like $135 million.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I think this might be might be the best. Hopefully, is the best Netflix movie, but it will definitely also be the biggest loser in terms of cash loser, because that movie's so expensive.
Yeah. Movie Pass. We talked about it a little bit. Movie Pass cut its prices to $6.95 a month for new subscribers. If you're listening to this podcast, which means, and you've just listened to us talk about Hurricane Heist for a little bit, that's why you need a Movie Pass. It's worth it. If you're going to go see Avengers, or if you're going to go see Black Panther, it's less than a ticket to one of those movies, and you can see stuff like Hurricane Heist for free, essentially.
Yeah, you're bored at home and you decide, I'm just going to watch Netflix. No, screw that. Go see a new release. Get some popcorn, because now you can afford to get popcorn. It's amazing.
Or just save your money.
Yeah. Trey.
So, Trey, were you able to use it when you went to go see Death of Stalin?
No, I did it after.
Okay.
I bought it after. I mean, I had to go see that. I don't know if it works for Magnolia. Does it work at the Magnolia?
No, I don't think it works.
Okay.
It works at 91% of theaters nationwide.
Okay.
Though. So
does it work at Angelica?
Yes.
Angelica
Okay.
It works at.
All right.
I
had a seat at Magnolia. Magnolia is a cool theater too. It's right up by a little
it's in
Smikosina right there, and it's pretty cool.
It's in Uptown.
Yeah. It's fun.
Now, is this $6.99 a month? You pay it up front, or are you month to month?
Month to month.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Because when they were running it for a while, where it was a little bit less, but you had to pay up front.
Yeah, it was like $90 for the year, or something like that.
So definitely get on that now.
Yeah.
Lock in that $6.95. It's a great deal for $15, which is, I'm paying $10. it would be worth it for $20 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
If you're just going to see if you're only going to see 2 movies a month, it's worth it.
If you
get a free
see
movie.
one movie a month, it's worth it at this point because they've kept cutting it. I was a Movie Pass subscriber at $40 a month.
Yeah.
And then they cut it to 10, which was insane. Now it's all the way down to 7. I have no idea what their plan is because people talk about with Uber how Uber turns whatever like a huge loss every quarter, but it's just about getting the market share. Mm-hmm. But with Uber, there's Lyft and other things that are doing similar stuff. I don't know exactly what MoviePass is trying to compete against or what it's trying to have a user base for.
It's collecting data. It's
right.
It's movie,
well,
it's data.
There was that they're the guy in charge, the CEO, said, "Oh yeah, we're tracking everywhere you go," essentially as like a joke, and then and then had to be like, "Oh no, we only do it to find out where you are near theaters," but that's.
I don't care.
Right.
I'm not going to murder anybody after the movie. Go see where I go and get dinner after the movie. I don't care. Just let me see movies for $10 a month.
I guess they technically have to because it's the whole thing. You have to be a few yards from the movie.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will allow it.
And every once in a while, they'll send out an email that'll be like, "Hey, go see Gringo. If you go see Gringo this weekend, you can get a chance to meet Charlize Theron or something like."
Who is? Oh God, what's the name of the actor in that movie?
Daniel
Oluwa.
Yeah.
Oluwa. I can't pronounce it.
But they'll have stuff like that where I think they'll try to get people to go see certain movies, which I think is a good thing to do.
That's
but right now,
it's perfectly healthy marketing.
They must be just like hemorrhaging money.
Their Slice Line.
Right, exactly. Their Slice Line from Silicon Valley, which Trey does not watch.
I should watch it. It's one of those movies I should.
A series.
Yeah. Or series. I'm sorry. I'm so into films right now.
No, it's these are lost leaders for sure.
Yeah.
And I love them.
Ryan Reynolds is going to get a writing credit for Deadpool 2. He is super involved in the process.
He was involved in getting that movie
made.
From the start. Yeah, made. Yeah.
And he was the first one he leaked like footage of himself on purpose to try to build hype to get the studio to make it and stuff like that.
And it worked. People were like Reddit exploded, Twitter exploded.
So he's going to get a writing credit. I think that's kind of cool.
Fair,
he seems passionate about it. Yeah. Have you guys seen now this is old news, but I just saw it when I saw this story about Ryan Reynolds. Have you read the Deadpool 2 synopsis?
No. That
they sent out.
I know it involves Cable, who is like my friend is my friend at work is super into comic books, and he loves Cable, and he's tried to explain to me Cable's origin, and it is insanely convoluted. Apparently, comic books are super convoluted.
Oh no way!
But I have not read this synopsis.
This is the synopsis they sent
the movie, out. Or is this like a joke synopsis?
It's like
the actual movie.
I'll read it.
I don't want spoilers for people who want to see the movie, though.
I mean, they sent it out. They're not
After surviving a near-fatal bovine attack, a disfigured cafeteria chef, Wade Wilson, struggles to fulfill his dream of becoming Mayberry's hottest bartender while also learning to cope with the loss of his sense of taste. Searching to regain his spice for life as well as a flux capacitor, Wade must battle ninjas, the Yakuza, and a pack of sexually aggressive canines as he journeys around the world to discover the importance of family, friendship, and flavor, finding a new taste for adventure, and earning the coveted coffee mug title of World's Best Lover.
I think we've just spoiled the movie for people.
Right,
so.
yeah. So sorry, guys, if you were going to see Deadpool 2. That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
You see, when it's like, I think you and I had the same reaction after seeing Deadpool 1. Like, you liked Deadpool, the first one, right?
Yes, I did. I was worried for what it was going to mean for movies going forward, though.
Right. And I was worried, like, oh, this could get really stale really fast. But things like that are hilarious. That's very funny.
Right.
And so it gives me hope that the shtick won't get stale, provided I think the jokes will still be good.
It from the preview, it felt a little bit like 22 Jump Street, where I think they're going to be kind of making fun of that.
They'll do sequel jokes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, hey, that wasn't a bad movie.
Yeah,
No, I liked 22.
Yeah.
I really liked the trailer for this. I've been kind of like dreading Deadpool 2, but that trailer
I've been less dreading it than you have. I think
this is cool.
Yeah, it's
And Josh Brolin is pretty. I love Josh Brolin in most everything he does. So he could be a cool Cable.
we'll see.
Margot Robbie officially in as Sharon Tate in the
Nice
Tarantino
That
LA
cast.
Jeez.
movie. So now Margot Robbie, Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt.
So that's a hell of a cast.
So good.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
And you have to imagine, like, a movie like that's going to have a huge cast. I think there's going to be even more big names probably confirmed. I mean, every Tarantino movie has a ton of awesome names.
You just watched I, Tonya.
I did.
How did you feel about Margot Robbie?
I think she's great. I think she's sort of, she looks like someone who would, I don't know, like you think they would, she's sort of the Brad Pitt, the female Brad Pitt. Do you think she would be in a lot of like movies where she's just like the pretty girl?
She's almost too attractive to be a good actress. And then you're like, oh
my God, she's really good.
Yeah.
She's very good.
Yeah, I think
she's excellent.
That's a really good comparison, I think, to Brad Pitt, where Brad Pitt is so insanely handsome, but he's also a very talented actor,
and he picks great roles. Yeah, in great movies.
You might see some. I'm not sure what other aside from like Wolf of Wall Street, maybe, where she's just put in there to be beautiful.
Right.
Brad Pitt, like you'd see movies with him where he's not really acting.
First, a bunch of movies like Thelma and Louise. He was just kind of the hunky dude in that. Yeah,
that's a good comparison.
Thank you.
Lord and Miller, the directors of the Lego Movie and the aforementioned 21 and 22 Jump Street, they're going to get credit as executive producers of Solo, a Star Wars story. They were supposed to direct it. They got kicked off. Ron Howard reshot it all, but they're still getting
consolation prize.
A little bit of credit.
Yeah, a little bit of credit.
Just in keeping up with that news. And then Steven Spielberg apparently wanted to keep Spielberg movies out of Ready Player One, but his crew voted against it. And they said, you know what? Put Jaws in there. I don't know if it's Jaws necessarily.
Sure.
Oh, I see.
I hear it's getting good reviews.
It's gotten really good reviews. I actually know someone who saw it at South by Southwest.
Oh, Heather?
Heather saw it.
Oh, yeah, okay. Why isn't she on the podcast today?
Well, I don't know. Didn't invite her.
Well, let's get her on.
Okay.
Right now.
She said it's the plot is Willy Wonka.
Yeah. Okay.
But she said she enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah. The plot.
That's
I mean,
fine.
I read the book, and the plot is very much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it's like Willy Wonka and the Matrix, right?
It's about a boy who goes into this virtual reality game. Everybody basically lives their lives in this game. He has to go get 3 keys to unlock 3 gates to save the Oasis. Whoever does this gets ownership over the Oasis, which is the name of the virtual reality world.
Is there a fat kid that gets sucked up in a chocolate
There is a
river?
fat kid. I don't think they make the fat kid fat in this movie though.
Okay.
But that's the thing.
Sizist.
Basically most of this movie I would imagine will be portrayed by their avatars, which nobody looks like themselves, so nobody's fat.
Of course. Even though in Sea of Thieves, I'm picking the fattest, jolliest guy ever.
Yeah, I think this movie is kind of weird because the book is really popular. I really enjoyed it. It's quick and easy. It is just nostalgia overload. It's basically the author like saying, "Here's all the things I liked." Yeah. So the criticism of the book is fine, but it is very much could be adapted to a really cool movie. Based on the the first trailer looked pretty bad. Second trailer looked a lot better, so it's cool to hear that it's getting good reviews. It could be very cool.
I trust Heather, so yeah.
I don't.
Oh.
But
oh no.
No, I don't know. She just likes everything.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be cautiously
you know better than I do.
Optimistic.
All right.
But Steven Spielberg, I can understand not wanting to be kind of self-referential about it, but when you've made like such cultural touchstones,
he has to, yeah.
You don't really have much of a choice.
Sorry, Steve. Do y'all want to see that this week?
I'd be down.
I think I'm down for it.
Yeah, we got Movie Pass now.
Yeah,
we do.
Box office.
I lost.
I think I won this week.
I lost.
Pacific Rim Uprising, $28 million.
Sorry, Trey.
Black Panther, $16 million, came in second.
I didn't realize Pacific Rim was coming out. I probably should have picked that over Black Panther.
Well, if you would have listened to me say what was coming out before you made your picks.
I know.
Yeah, fool.
I Can Only Imagine, $13.3 million.
Another strong week.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it's a really big hit.
That sounds more like your Dwayne The Rock Johnson money laundering kind of movie.
Yeah, there's church outings, I guess.
Yeah, millions of them.
And then Sherlock Gnomes, which, Spencer, you had taken in your in our year-long box office bet, comes in with an opening weekend of $10 million.
I think I took that pretty low, didn't I?
That was your last one that you took as a way to replace Magic Camp, which is not a movie that is coming out.
Well, it's a better pick than Magic Camp. I don't care.
So, Spencer, Magic
Camp sounds like, I keep thinking Magic Camp is that gay conversion therapy movie for some reason.
That sounds like a better movie than what I'm sure it will be.
Magic Camp. So Spencer, you've had three movies. You've had A Wrinkle in Time,
oh no,
Sherlock Gnomes, and then 50 Shades Freed, which did pretty well. That's wrapping up. It's going to be around $100 million. I'm
fine with that. I think I'm anticipating. Do I anticipate Sherlock Gnomes will be around the 30th highest grossing movie of the year? Possibly.
Oh, that was on your list.
Yeah, but it was. I'm saying that's the 30th highest movie. It's the margin at that level.
Yeah,
is so small. I think I'm still in good shape with my top picks.
Black Panther, with its $16 million, becomes the biggest domestic superhero movie of all time, passing the Avengers. Which reminds me, Trey, you still haven't dilly-dillied.
I know.
I would like to transfer the dilly-dilly from a Black Panther showing to Avengers.
How about Ready Player One when we see that?
Nope, Avengers.
Avengers, okay.
Yep. It's got to be Avengers.
All right.
It's not quite the same, and I'm still pretty upset because...
I know, I'm upset too.
But
you wanted some person to beat me up, didn't you?
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's good. I think you may get high fives at Avengers for saying dilly-dilly. Dude, that's so cool and fun.
There are some pretty socially important movies coming out this year if you'd rather do that.
Do you want me to do it in the gay conversion therapy movie Dilly Dilly?
No, I'm trying to think of
like The Grinch.
Yeah.
Until December when Dilly Dilly.
What's going to be the most socially important movie? I'll do it.
Well, the thing is, it has to be
socially important movie.
It has to be socially important, but also a movie where people are going to be. So, like, we have our Oscar picks where there's, like, If Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah,
or,
that's what I'm saying.
First Man, which, Boy Erased, which is the gay conversion.
It sounded really harsh to say that. I felt really bad.
Yeah.
Boy Erased. Okay. I'll do it for that.
Yeah, there's also Beautiful Boy.
Beautiful Boy with Timothée Chalamet. A picture just came out with Timothée Chalamet crying next to Steve Carell.
Oh,
he's always crying.
He's very sad.
He's sad.
An emotional boy.
If more people would go to see The Favorite, the new Yorgos movie, that would be a funny one. This like insanely dark comedy. Dilly Dilly.
I should have done it at Death of
Stalin.
You and 5 other people.
Yeah,
that's not fun. But Adam, it's your bet, so you get to choose.
I'm gonna say the Avengers.
Okay.
I want it in a full theater.
Yes.
But it has to be like when Thor dies or whatever, like
spoilers.
And opening weekend if we're able to see it opening weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Coming out this week, Ready Player One, we talked about a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
God's Not Dead, A Light in the Darkness, the latest installment in the God's Not Dead universe.
Wait, this is a
cinematic
sequel?
Universe, yeah.
You don't know about the God's Not Dead cinematic universe?
Not yet.
It's another Mercy Me movie, but essentially it's just it's a Christian.
So it's going to have to compete with I Can Only Imagine.
Yeah,
that's also like a very Christian movie, is it not?
Right.
Yeah. So, man, that'll be a hot button right there.
And then Tyler Perry movie,
another Christian movie,
Acrimony.
What?
I don't know anything about it other than it's called Tyler Perry's Acrimony.
Don't sleep on that.
Let me look up Tyler Perry's Acrimony.
Don't sleep on that in the box office.
And then Isle of Dogs is going to continue. It's going to continue to grow, but it doesn't get wide release until
Have you been
April
seeing reviews for that?
6th. I have seen not good reviews for it.
Middling, you know?
Yeah, middling, I would say, more than...
People have issues with it being set in Japan.
Tyler Perry's Acrimony says, a faithful wife, Taraji P. Henson, tired of standing by her devious husband, Lyric Bent, is enraged when it becomes clear she's been betrayed. I actually think this trailer played before Girls Trip, now that I see what's happening. So...
Oh, wait, is it with Medea or is this another movie?
No.
Never mind then. I was going to say if it's Medea, that would have been number one.
You think Tyler Perry would release a Medea movie and not include Medea in the title?
Yeah,
that's
probably.
how he gets people to see his movie.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Spencer won last week. I didn't mention that, but yeah, Spencer picked Pacific Rim and Black Panther. So, Spencer, you're starting off.
I'm going to take Ready Player One.
I am also taking Ready Player One.
I'm also taking Player Ready One.
And then I will take Pacific Rim.
I will also take Pacific Rim.
Yeah, I'll take Pacific Rim as well.
And then I will take Black Panther.
I'll also take Black Panther.
I'm going to take Tyler Perry's Acrimony.
Oh!
I'll take, what are the other movies coming out again this week? Sorry.
There is God's Not Dead, A Light in the Darkness, Tyler Perry's Acrimony. Those are the two big ones.
I'll take Acrimony.
Oh, I guess I'll have to take... Well, I'll take Acrimony. So we have to go down again now.
I'll take God's Not Dead.
And I'll take the other one that was number 3 this year. Or number 3.
You Can Only Imagine. I Can Only Imagine?
I Can Only Imagine.
Okay, so let's go over that again. We did Ready Player One,
Yep.
Black Panther.
Yep.
Black Panther. And then I chose Acrimony, and you guys picked...
It's
Pacific Rim.
Well, yeah, for us, yeah, we went. What did we do?
Pacific Rim.
We did Ready Player One, Pacific Rim, Black Panther, Acrimony, and then it was between God's Not Dead and I Can Only Imagine for Trey.
Okay. Cool. It was written.
Cool, guys.
Excellent. We did it.
Anything else before we could quickly run through things we've seen?
Yeah, what we've been watching.
Cool. I've got 2 weeks of movies.
Yeah.
I watched Green Room, which was very entertaining. Hurricane Heist, of course. I was gone last week, so this is 2 weeks for me. I did really like Green Room. That director shows a lot of brutal stuff. That's a ton of fun to see. I watched The Game, which was, I think, Trey's recommendation. Yep. David Fincher, I think, is, from a directing standpoint, is one of the best working directors, in my opinion. His movies are shot so well. And that's a ton of fun. It's a very fun movie. Really liked it. I watched Blended on a hotel TV. It took like 3.5 hours to watch it with commercials.
Yeah. I watched the first 5 minutes of it years ago and could not last another second.
It's insane how bad I was sitting in the theater in the hotel room, doing chores while it's on. It's
Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler.
Yes,
right. They somehow through comical events have to go on a vacation together.
Yes, they have a terrible blind date with one another, but through a series of connections, end up on two separate family trips at the same African resort. And they get this. Adam Sandler is actually a really good guy.
Oh,
and
sure.
Drew Barrymore falls in love with him.
Yeah. Tales old as time. Adam Sandler's a good guy, and the hot girl falls in love with him.
Yeah.
Usually with the name that starts with the letter V.
Yeah.
I gave it 2 stars because it is a terrible, terrible movie. But
has a lot of heart.
There are a couple of moments where Adam Sandler is legitimately funny in it. And there are very few, but it's enough to where it's not the worst movie I've ever seen.
I don't remember it at all, but I remember Terry Crews doing something just insane at the very beginning, and that being the point where I was like, I can't do this.
No, there's a whole scene where Drew Barrymore has to buy a nudie mag for her son because she tore up his centerfold, and and Adam Sandler can look at the torn up picture and is like, oh yeah, no, this is this magazine. I got it in my room. And the reason he's at this convenience store is because he has to buy tampons for his daughter, who he calls Larry. Her name's Hillary. It's an awful movie.
Does he do it as a joke that he calls her Larry, or is that
no,
just like her
she's a
fun name?
She's a tomboy, and he calls her Larry. And there's a whole thing about her becoming a woman because it's the most late Adam Sandler movie. But he made me laugh a few times in it, so I gave him 2 stars.
What's the last Adam Sandler movie you really enjoyed?
That I really enjoyed?
Yes.
I remember really liking Little Nicky when it came out, but I wouldn't like it now.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know what, 8 years old.
I think Anger Management was okay. I think that was like the last one.
I think Anger Management came after Little Nicky, right?
It did.
Yeah,
so
for
Little
sure.
Nicky was a
Little
dip.
Nicky was
Anger
before.
Management was a little bit better.
Big Daddy had a lot of heart. I stayed
Big
by that
Daddy's-
movie.
Big
Yeah.
Daddy's good.
I like Big Daddy a lot.
I don't mean to break this up for you guys, but Funny People, he was in.
Yeah, I guess that's. I don't
Funny
know if that
People was
counts.
good.
It's not a
It's
I
not
guess
like
so.
a Adam Sandler
vehicle.
created.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's the Sandler verse, right, where all of his movies are connected.
He said like they're all like someone's cousin or something, but I don't think they're really connected.
I don't know. Obviously, Adam Sandler has fallen off drastically, and this movie is no exception.
Sure.
I watched Wonder Woman, which is truly a terrible, terrible movie. Awful. It got the same score as Blended. And then I watched The Death of Stalin, which is absolutely hilarious.
Do we want to talk about that for a second?
We can talk about it a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
One of the just off the bat, Death of Stalin, about the power grab following Joseph Stalin's death.
Was this
the
is
Soviet
based
Union.
on what happened, just a satire of it? Okay.
It's a
Like
farce
it's-
of
Yes.
It's
loose.
historically based very, very loosely.
Yes, loosely.
I think like the actual like major events
Mhm.
actually happened.
Yeah.
Like who died.
Right.
Like obviously Nikita Khrushchev
Mhm.
Takes it.
seceded. But yeah, it's very much a farce. I absolutely love that Steve Buscemi just talks like
Yes.
Steve Buscemi, and everyone else speaks in English accents.
Well, I mean, Jeffrey Tambor doesn't do an accent either.
Right. No one
but
does an
yeah,
accent.
everybody does their normal voice, essentially, whether it's an English accent or an American accent. It's just whatever. I think that's a great choice.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It makes it so much better.
Mhm.
Like Lexi and I were actually just we were talking about it pretty quickly soon before that, whereas like it's so funny that you have movies about like Germans and they're speaking in English with German accent, and it's so strange. But you're in the movie, so it doesn't matter. But this was great because it doesn't matter that if they sound like Russians or not.
Yeah.
It's directed and written by Armando Iannucci, the guy who was behind Veep for years, the creator of Veep, and I think just until this last season he left to make this movie, I think specifically. And it is definitely has a very Veep feel to it. It isn't quite as Veepy as I kind of expected.
No, it's brutal.
Yeah, it is
very brutal.
In Veep, she eventually becomes the president, Selena Meyer, and they're kind of like bumbling and they make mistakes that cause issues and problems. But in this movie, they make a point of consistently showing you like people getting shot and killed and being like, yeah, these guys are idiots.
We're going to change the lists around here.
Right, yeah.
Now, and just like, they just stop midway through shooting people. And all these guys,
and then the son who just sold out his dad to the to the police, now his dad is back home.
Yeah.
God.
Or the people in the firing line who just get the order halfway through and say, all right, go home.
Oh,
They're not getting killed.
I think one of my favorite parts was they were comparing notes to their wives when they went home with all the jokes they told, which ones didn't really go over well.
Yeah.
I thought that was really great. I thought Steve Buscemi and Jeffrey Tambor were amazing.
Everyone was fantastic.
And the fat guy, what's his name?
I don't know.
I thought he was really good too. Like, I wasn't expecting much from the rest of the cast because I didn't know who they were. I thought
Simon Russell Beale.
He was great.
Yeah,
he was really good.
Yeah,
as that character.
Where he was, the super brutal one.
Briar or something like that. I can't remember.
But also, everyone kind of just wants to do things to support themselves and not because it's necessarily the right thing to do or advance their own agendas to take over for Stalin. My favorite moments are like the ones where they're having this discussion about kind of anything else, and Jeffrey Tambor just wants to find this girl so he can look like he has the picture, and so you're like, no, she's gonna be grown up at first, and then they bring in little girls, and he's like, no, I want the same girl. Then they bring in the girl, and then the girl's too tall, and he's like, whoa, this is gonna be weird. I can't have this girl so tall. And then they bring in a little girl that looks like it, which is basically the idea they had at the beginning. He's like, there we go, now this will work. And then the railing is too high, so you can't even see the little girl at all, where it's just like, that's just like a tiny through line in a few scenes to where like going, and it pays off so
I
well.
love that character too. He's sort of oblivious to everything that's kind of going around him.
Right.
But man, Jeffrey Tambor's he's just a treasure.
Right. Like he is the second in command, probably because he's just the biggest idiot who will not ever challenge Stalin.
Yeah. Right.
And in Stalin's death, he's the interim like premier.
Yeah.
And
he's like a lapdog.
Such an idiot.
Yeah.
I think one thing that this movie excels at, that of course Veep excels at, is the insult humor is so good. Like they're just making fun of Jeffrey Tambor. Like, what did Coco Chanel just take a shit on your head? It's so good. They're so good at demeaning one another in such clever ways.
Oscar Isaac's character is really great. Oscar Isaac. My God.
Jason
Isaacs.
Okay,
yeah, I'm sorry, not Oscar Isaacs. Yeah, I thought his character was really great too.
I really liked Rupert Friend, who played Stalin's son. Just like the whole first beginning scene where he's like trying to cover up that the entire Russian hockey team died in a plane crash. He told them to take off, and so he has just a bunch of like guys trying to play like professional hockey, and they're all falling down and stuff. And he's like, "What? There was no plane crash. Russian planes work fine. There's no problems with Russian planes."
That's such a good movie.
Yeah, highly recommend it.
And also, I know we're wrapping up, but just like there's the parts with punchlines, but then there's also just kind of stuff that happens that's kind of everyday when, they're all carrying Putin's like
that's a hefty Stalin.
Or Stalin. I'm sorry.
Wow, Freudian slip there.
Stalin's coffin, and then they all go to get in their cars, and then everybody goes, and then they all have to get out to pay respects to everything, and then they get back in, and then Steve Buscemi's like, "Oh, what? We're last now?" Like it's just like that's like something that would happen. It's so good.
Yeah,
makes me really good.
It's definitely very. I would love to watch it again.
Yes.
There are so many jokes.
Yeah.
I actually saw this movie with my sister-in-law's good friend's dad, who I'd never spent time with in my life, alone with him. So it was fun.
Nice.
What did he think?
His name is Cub Culbertson. He he watched it and didn't really know what it was about, but thought it was funny.
All right. Cool.
Very good.
Trey,
what have you been watching?
Okay.
Unless you were done, right?
Yeah, that was the last one.
All right. So let's see here. I watched The Martin.
Is that about Martin Lawrence?
Yes, it is. Martian, which is the greatest comedy of 2015, obviously.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a great.
It's hilarious.
Golden Globe smash.
No, it's really good. I liked it a lot. At one point, I did think, for a split second, I swear, once like a millisecond, I'm like, is this based on a real story? They're like, wait a minute. They've never been to Mars.
Oh, Trey.
Yeah.
Trey.
It was so well done.
Based on a real book.
Based on a real book. It felt very real.
It like the process of him having to do things. It felt like very Apollo.
Exact Apollo 13.
Apollo 13.
Yeah, definitely. I really dug it. It was good. I saw Too Fast, Too Furious doing my my challenge to see all 8 Fast and the Furious movies.
Pockets ain't empty, cuz.
It's definitely the worst. The worst one.
That's false.
Really? The third one's the worst?
No.
Which one's the worst?
I mean, I think I probably like 4 the least.
Okay.
Even though it's probably better than the other ones.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 is kind of in the middle. It's between where the early ones, they're earnest but kind of have like some wacky fun parts to it. And then 3 goes pretty big and like in bad ways. I think like I would probably say Tokyo Drift's my least favorite.
Okay.
But yeah, 4 as like the bridge between the early ones and the late ones. Kind of plays
Goblet
safe.
of Fire.
Kind of plays it
Okay.
safe, and then 5 is when things go
Crazy.
Take off.
totally great.
Yeah.
I think Paul Walker forgot how to act in this.
I'm not sure Paul Walker ever really knew how
No,
to act.
probably
There's a
not.
reason why he's really only in one movie.
I thought you were about to say
franchise.
there's one reason why he's dead. And that would,
Yeah, that
would
was
have
why, because he didn't know how to act.
yeah. He's
Hey,
not,
drive boy.
He's not great, and I could see why this movie, him and Tyrese were very, a little too buddy. I could see why this would be on a list of, is this movie gay? He's like, they're really
man.
very friendly with each other.
I
in
love
this.
that relationship.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
It's so off.
It's so good, and it's so important to the rest of the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's kind of the. I mean, they established in the first one, like, I don't know. Do they say the family in the first one?
No, they don't say family.
They don't
in the
say
first one.
family in
No,
the
they
first
don't.
one, but
They don't
it is
explicitly
definitely
say
like a
it.
tight knit
Yeah.
group.
yeah, I mean they're having barbecues. They're forgiving and forgetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's a family.
It's established without it specifically explicit. Yeah,
I'm still
explicitly saying
into it. I'm still into it. It
Yeah,
didn't
man.
deter me. I know what I'm getting into.
Yes.
I'm still into it. I'm ready for 5, 6,
Yeah.
and 7, and 8.
Stay strong.
Yeah.
yeah. Hold on for those.
Saw Boss Baby.
Yeah.
Not terrible. I thought it had some cool animation. I
Yeah.
really liked the animation. In
Oh
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't count it towards my watched list because I was like taking a dump during a lot of it.
Are you okay?
Oh no.
I was taking several dumps.
Oh god.
Well, that doesn't.
I ate a lot of cheese that
Okay,
day.
that makes sense.
Okay.
It's like kind of fun, kind of creative.
Yeah, it's fun. I saw a review and they're like, I didn't really understand it, and I just assumed it was all in his head, the kid's head, right?
Yeah, the kid's like.
Yeah.
The whole thing is that he's a super creative.
Yeah, and it's sort of
guy.
I think it's, it has a good message for really young kids who are having siblings, I think, like
Yeah.
about having
worry.
a brother and attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not as offensive as Emoji Movie.
Right.
I think it's fine.
I understand that like why people would be like, oh, there's
The trailers.
adult animated movies that would be
Yes.
much better for
100%.
feature animated film
Like,
at
I
the
know-
Oscars and stuff like that.
I know Your Name, this anime movie is like a lot of people, especially like people who love anime, like
Yeah.
that movie a lot.
Freaking losers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of like Freaky Friday.
Got him.
Got him.
Sorry to turn off a big chunk of our.
Sorry to all our loser listeners.
Sorry, Perry Dactyl, who's who probably likes that movie.
No, anime's great.
Sorry, Perry. Good God, Spencer. I saw I, Tanya as well.
Yeah.
Really good.
Talked about that a little bit.
Yeah. I thought that was a really fun. I didn't think it was as funny as people were saying.
What was your most fun part when he grabbed
Probably
her
the-
by the ponytail and smashed her face into the
Yeah,
wall?
I didn't think that was
Or
very funny.
When
I don't get, like, I saw reviews like, man, it was hilarious, a laugh riot. I'm like, it was like lighthearted, but it wasn't funny.
yeah, it's kind of like Wolf of Wall Street-ish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Where it's like not necessarily funny, but it's cut in a way to be like amusing.
Yes, amusing.
There's
would say.
definitely more straight comic relief with the fat
fat guy,
security
yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
I
that
thought he was
lightens
really good.
the overall mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more so like situationally funny. Like these
Uh-huh.
idiots
Yeah.
are really doing this.
Margot Robbie's really good.
She's great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I saw this movie called Altered States. Have you ever heard of this?
Mm-mm.
I have not.
It's a movie that was made in 1980, and it's the first ever movie with Drew Barrymore. She plays like the guy's daughter, and
great.
it is she's not
Before
even in it.
E.T.?
She's like barely in it. It's William Hurt. It's his first ever
Okay.
movie,
Okay.
and it is about this teacher who he works at this university. He's doing these sort of sensory deprivation experiments, and he takes a whole bunch of drugs from Mexico, and he's trying to like find out like what men's purpose is. It's a very, you're a freshman in high school, you take a few mushrooms and watch a movie kind of movie.
Yeah.
It's all right. It was fun. It's not great. It's interesting, but it's very hey, I'm a high schooler and I just smoked weed for the first time. Let's watch this movie about.
Let's watch a Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, it's very much like that. It's all right though. And then I saw Death of Stalin, and I watched a bunch of Dragon Ball Z, which I like it. It's definitely a kids show, but I like it. Like, and in the way that like, there's just the you could kind of see the fabric of it. You could kind of see the strings.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of see what they're doing here and there, and it's very formulaic, and characters do things just to kind of serve to give Goku more time,
Right.
but it's still fun. It's real fun, So yeah, that's what I've been watching.
Cool. I watched 3 movies this week. I think I'm gonna try to watch at least some of the Marvel movies.
Yeah, I'm going to too.
Because Avengers kind of looks interesting to me. The latest one, I'm at least interested in it. So I watched Captain America: Civil War.
Have you seen Winter Soldier?
I have not seen Winter Soldier.
I hear that's really good. I think I might watch that tonight.
I heard Winter Soldier's supposed to be kind of like the best.
Yeah, that's what I hear too.
Marvel
I
movie?
think I might have seen Winter Soldier. That's a Captain America, right?
Yes.
I feel like I've seen a couple of the Captain America movies, none of the straight Avenger movies.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is Captain America: Civil War, even though it should have been
kind of
Marvel.
Avengers-y,
Yeah, it is basically everyone except for Thor and the Hulk.
Yeah.
And
I remember when the Civil War thing was going on.
It's
back in the early 2000s. Like that was a comic book run for a while.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people and they keep adding people and there's gonna be so many more in not Age of Ultron, in Infinity War.
Uh-huh.
And boy, it really makes, like, there was a certain point where I was like, okay, they're kind of balancing this, and then they basically show up to where Iron Man and Captain America are going to have their big fight, and then they're like, hey, I found someone who's going to tag along as well. They open up a van, and Paul Rudd is in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, why
is
there's
Ant-Man
so much
here?
There's just so many people. You don't all need to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So I am it just made me a little more bummed out about, and the fight scenes are just so long. There's so many fights that are just like hella long, I would say.
Hella long.
And I watched The Death of Stalin, and then I watched The Witch. The Witch.
That's one.
That's a great
Huge of a bitch.
It's a great horror movie.
It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it because it was one. It came up as Red Letter Media as one of the guys' favorite movies of that year, and I was like, okay, I'll check it out. I'd watched some of the horror movies that guy had suggested before, and I wasn't super stoked on it. And it starts off, and I was like, ugh, this is kind of tough.
Really? That didn't wake you up? The witch getting all naked?
The witch at the beginning, yeah, it is interesting, but like by the end, it's so good. It's such a well done horror movie.
Yeah.
I feel bad that I hadn't watched it for Spooktacular. I would have been more into it. Spencer, you have not seen it, correct?
Right. It's legit scurry.
It is really.
I wouldn't say it's
creepy.
Scary. It's not. There's no jump scares.
No, it's just.
It's just like a general attitude of creepiness.
How do you feel about like the occult? Like actual real.
He's getting spooked.
Getting spooked.
I can dig it. If you're gonna recommend that, I will gladly watch it and make Lexi watch it with me.
Because it's one of those.
This is one. Yeah, she'll cuddle up to you.
Yeah,
she'll be like, ooh.
I remember seeing that with my buddy Hayden, and I remember I was like falling asleep in the car he was driving, and I was like falling asleep in the theater, about to fall asleep. And then that freaking witch kills that baby, and I was up for the rest of the movie. I'm like, oh,
spoiler!
It happens like
5 minutes,
3 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
It is interesting that they did show the witch right away to me, because it could have very easily been played like, is this real or is it? Basically, you just watch a family fall apart
pretty much
for most of the movie.
Yeah.
That's most of the movie. Like the witch stuff isn't a big deal.
It's secondary. It's sort of like a good zombie movie where the zombies are kind of secondary. It's about the humanity. It's about
Yes.
the people becoming animals and monsters to each other.
And this was this guy's first movie.
Yeah.
The director, Robert Eggers.
Uh-huh.
And then the main girl in it is...
She was in some stuff recently.
Yeah. She was in Split.
Okay. Yeah. She was.
Anna Taylor-Joy.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's in Thoroughbreds as well.
She's really good.
And yeah, she was really good in it because it starts off and there's like kids trying to do this like old-timey speak.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know how I feel about this. Fight through it because I think I've established through this podcast that I generally like the first 2 acts of movies a lot, and then the third act I'm always kind of like.
The third act was really good in this.
This movie, the first act is kind of like this is like such a good thing.
Yeah.
The first act sets up everything perfectly for the second, and then the third act is so great.
The ending, I think it was well-deserved ending.
So good.
Oh my god, that freaked me out.
Yeah, it's
that kind of stuff
great.
scares me. That's not scares me, but that pushes a nerve. I like that kind of stuff.
It's great. So watch The Witch. I think it's on Amazon Prime right now.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
So movies recommendations.
You recommended The Witch to me.
I
What do
recommended
you
The
got for
Witch
Trey?
to Spencer. For Trey, I'm an hour into a movie that so there's like 30 minutes left. It's called Welcome to Me, and it's on Netflix.
Okay.
It's stars Kristen Wiig. So it stars Kristen Wiig. It's made by LeBron James's production company. It's directed by Adam McKay's wife, who is also Jeremy Piven's sister.
This is an insider's movie.
Yeah.
Sounds like big Hollywood here.
James Marsden's in it. Tim Robbins is in it.
Love James Marsden.
Basically, Kristen Wiig she has BPD and is off.
Big P disease?
Yeah, she's got a big old P. And she's off her meds, and she wins the lottery. And she's kind of obsessed with watching Oprah and shows like that. So she uses her lottery money to create her own show, her own kind of like Oprah style show, but it's not even an Oprah style show. It's not even a talk show. It's just her. She's like, yeah, I'm going to talk about me all the time. So it's very Brigsby Bear ish.
Yeah.
It's a little weird because there's sometimes where it's like she has like a legitimate like a diagnosed mental illness where she's not being wacky. It's like a serious thing, but
they kind of play the mental illness as a comedy thing.
It's like they don't really play it as a comedy, but it is a little bit. I've enjoyed it so far. I still have 30 minutes left in it.
Okay.
So if the ending is bad, don't blame me.
Okay.
But I think you liked Brigsby Bear, so I think you may like this. So she goes to a local access place and starts her own TV show, throwing around money like crazy.
Cool. Adam, I'm gonna recommend. Let's see. Would you guys want separate movies, or you both have the same movie on your watch list that I could recommend to each of you?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Well, Trey, how thoroughly did you want to watch Into the Wild? That's on your list.
I don't know. I mean, I'll watch if it's on the list. I put that on there. It seemed interesting.
I will say 2 movies have ever made me cry.
Yeah.
Air Bud was the first, and then Marley.
Only 2 movies?
Yeah, Marley and Me made me cry. It's dog movies that make me cry. This movie got me close. Granted, I was like 13 or 14. I don't know. But I remember really liking it then. It almost made me cry, so I want you to cry.
I'll cry with you, Spencer.
Adam, I think you should watch The Game. That's that was pretty cool. It's like there are some parts of the concept of the movie that you kind of have to get over, suspend your belief a little bit, but it's pretty great suspense and a really cool idea.
I need to rewatch it.
And it's shot really well. I'm a big David Fincher fan, but
it's been so long since I know I recommended that, but it's been so long since I've seen it.
You should watch that.
Adam, have you seen The Babadook?
I have not seen the Babadook.
I want you to see. You like The Witch.
Babadook is cool.
I want you to see the Babadook.
Okay.
And I think it's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's on Netflix still.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's on my list.
Yes. And Spencer, I'm gonna reiterate. You should see There Will Be Blood.
Yes, I should watch that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the podcast for this week. Thank you all for listening. Please send put a comment on iTunes if you can, and rate us. Give us that 5-star review, and for the troops. Adam, where can we find you in the world?
You can find me at the Fullerton. Feel free to vote in our bracket madness at the Fullerton.
Vote or die. Spencer, where can we find you in the world?
I'm at Coach Chucky.
All right. Well, thanks y'all for listening. This was a long one. Thanks for sticking with us. Have a great week, and we'll see you.